2021 will be remembered as a great year for music, but more specifically, hip-hop. For some reason, people will say, oh, this year was mid or it was bad, and then 5 years later, they'll be saying how 2021 was such a great year. It's a lot easier to look back on a certain time and say how great it was. For example, 2016 was an iconic year for SoundCloud rap, trap, and melodic rap as a whole. 2000 to 2005 was really an iconic stretch for popular music in general, but for hip-hop we were transitioning from gritty 90s street rap into the club and pop rap era. Outkast's Speakerboxxx, Nelly's Country Grammar, Eminem's The Marshall Mathers LP, 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin', and Kanye's A College Dropout are just a few of the many different popular rap albums that made this time so special. And I think the internet has made hip-hop fans a bit cynical. A lot of them think that we're in the microwave era of music, meaning what's being released is quick, not thought out, very timely, and will not age well. And this could be true, but only time will tell. It's always hard to stop and recognize when you're in a moment. It's also hard to stop and recognize when a hacker like me is trying to gain access to your private information. Luckily, NordVPN has a solution for you, and I want to thank them for sponsoring today's video. Basically, everything you do on the internet can be monitored and tracked by somebody else, like hackers and big data companies. They can use this information to flood you with ads that you don't care about, or gain access to your passwords and online accounts too. Well, we're not going to do anything good with it, that's for sure. But with NordVPN, simply click one button, and your network traffic is going to be more heavily encrypted. You can anonymously browse the internet with the comfort of knowing someone isn't watching your every move. And speaking of movies, you ever want to watch a Netflix show but find out it's only available in another country? Set your NordVPN to any country and browse all the Netflix shows that country has to offer. Get your holiday season deal at nordvpn.com/PatrickCC to get a 2-year plan with 1 additional month for a huge discount. Thanks, Nord. Now, I'm not trying to give 2021 too much credit, but I don't think all the kids in the 1970s were like, rock and roll is peaking. It's at an all-time high. They were probably just like, this music is dope. Or this is stellar, man. Far out. I think the reason it's easy to say a certain year or era is great is because you forget all of the bad stuff or lame stuff that was going on. For example, 2007, you had Graduation, 50 Cent's Curtis album, a plethora of Akon singles that dominated the radio, Drake's first mixtape, American Gangster by Jay-Z, Umbrella by Rihanna. Knowing that, you'd probably say it was a great year. But you also had Party Like a Rock Star go #1 with the Shop Boys, Crank That Soulja Boy go #1, This Is Why I'm Hot by Mims, Walk It Out by Unk. And I'm not necessarily saying 2007 was a good year or a bad year, but it's a lot easier to forget about all of the bad music 15 years later. Plus, I'm sure at the time it felt like everything was the crunk and snap era sound, and it was hard to appreciate some of the great hip-hop being made when every other song had Lil Jon screaming on the track. Are you drinking water while watching this video? And double check to see if you're subscribed. Might as well like the video too while you're down there. Needless to say, the people who have been crying about hip-hop being trash these days and all this music is going to age poorly are not interested in hearing what I have to say. But I think this year was one of the best years, if not the best year, that we've had for hip-hop since 2016. First off, let me say that whenever a lot of mainstream rappers are dropping, I feel like it's just good for the culture and good for music. It keeps a competitive spirit and makes artists want to release music that will keep the attention of the listeners at a time where attention spans are at an all-time low. Drake and Kanye, probably the 2 biggest and most relevant popular rappers today. When they drop, the world pays attention. So I think it's good overall. No matter how mediocre Drake can be, he really is good for hip-hop. Everyone and their mother knows Drake. He's probably the first rapper that children growing up from 2010 to 2021 will be introduced to. And don't lie to yourself, you have a Drake song that you like. You probably even like one on CLB as well. But Kanye absolutely stole the show this year. With the multiple listening parties and just recently the Larry Hoover benefit concert, his performance art reached a climax this year. Also, Kanye getting almost every popular rapper on one record, Donda, was truly something special. It was one of my favorite albums of the year for sure. Although Ye makes a spectacle of himself a lot, I'd be willing to bet we will look back on 2021 Ye as one of his best years. And that goes beyond music too. Don't think I forgot about Cole and Kendrick. K-Dot broke his musical silence this year, giving us Top of the Morning. Talk about timeless. But seriously, that shit's dumb hard. Kenny gave us 2 features on his protege, Baby Keem's Melodic Blue album, which is in my top 3 for the year, definitely. If Kendrick dropped an album this year, it would have 100% made 2021 the best year for music in a long time. But he did announce an album, which I can only assume is set for 2022. J. Cole dropped the off-season and broke his musical silence for a little while, which was crazy because he had no promo, no hype, just announced it a few days before the release, something you don't see a lot from big artists. But I think the casualness of the release is reflected in the music. I think it's a good album, but he just seemed like he wanted to get some stuff off of his chest, show us that he's still hungry, but not quite crafting this profound body of work. Basically what I'm saying is the off-season has mixtape vibes. And that's not a diss, I think it's a really solid project. The off-season is probably going to be remembered in 10 years as one of his underrated albums. Tyler, the Creator, oh baby, brought the raps back. I love me some Pop Tyler, I do. But we all fell in love with the badass, punk, I don't give a Tyler energy from 2011. 10 years later, it feels like we got a little bit of that back now, but now he's stupid rich and way more mature. Igor was for sure his masterpiece, but when we think of Tyler the Rapper, Call Me If You Get Lost is gonna be the one they talk about in years to come. Lil Wayne had a crazy year too. I know the project with Rich the Kid was not good, but if you just skip Rich's parts, it would be a cool little Wayne EP. Wayne showed us in 2021 that he still has a fire inside of him. Gang Gang with Polo G was a highlight for me, and I must say this was the best verse I heard from him in the past few years, and he followed up on Hot Wind Blows with Tyler, and bruh, it was even better than Gang Gang. He always takes all the shine from a song. Still, like nobody can even rap after him because they just have no chance. They're not gonna do better than him. He always has the best verse. And of course on CLB, You Only Live Twice with Drake and Rick Ross, he had a number of other features, besides the one with KSI, that were really, really good. An Evening with Silk Sonic. I know it's not technically a hip-hop album, it's more R&B, funk, soul, pop, but I mean, come on. It counts. This album is timeless. Listen to it 20 years ago and 20 years in the future, it will hold up. Playboi Carti, Whole Lotta Red in the beginning of the year, which led to Miss the Rage with Trippie Redd, which led to Trip at Night. The rage sound and aesthetic has permeated throughout the underground because of these two, inspiring the likes of Sofago, SSG Kobe, Yeet, Autumn Summers, Cash Dami, Chulu, and others who could be the mainstream rappers of 2022 and 2023. I'm not exactly sure how well the rage sound will age, but I'm confident it will be an important stepping stone for the future of the hype, melodic rap, trap, vapor trap sound. The XXL freshman list this year was pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. Actually, one of the worst in recent years. But that doesn't mean the future is bleak for tomorrow's hip-hop stars. Moray and Blast, I believe, are two of the dominant artists on the list, who for sure have talent to hold up for many years to come. Coi Leray, where do I start? If she does end up having a successful music career, which is possible, I think we will all remember 2021 as the year she was the internet's punching bag. I feel bad for her sometimes, but she's still making it happen. There were a lot of decent projects this year, which isn't that big of a statement, but these are the ones where you're just unsure what the perception will be over time. Some of them might age well, some of them might age terribly, but for right now, they're just solid. Slime Language 2, Life of a Don, Hall of Fame, Expensive Pain, Scary Hours 2, Trip at Night, The Life of Pierre, Punk, Montero by Lil Nas X was a little all over the place, but for his first album, I thought it was really solid. Some forgettable ones like Migos Culture 3 and We Love You Tekka 2. I know I'm going to get flack in the comments no matter what because I didn't mention someone's favorite album or favorite single, and this is exactly why I don't do these types of things often. Also got to mention that Sometimes I May Be Introverted is going to be looked back on as a masterpiece. Little Sims is getting the credit she deserves in 2021, but I guarantee that album will remain underrated for years to come. Albums that I didn't listen to, that I will get around to, but I know that you guys love: Slow Ties, JPEG Mafia, Injury Reserve, Nas, and Brockhampton. Now, 2021 was definitely the year of the album. There were some good singles. We live in a singles-dominated time now, so pretty much any year you're gonna get good ones. Industry Baby by Lil Nas X is definitely one to talk about, not just for the shock factor, but that it's a really good song and has a timelessness to it. Late at Night by Roddy Ricch is a down-tempo, moody vibe I think that will age really well. And Polo G went #1 with Rap Star, which is pretty cool. Should age fine. And last but not least, me. I had a good year in music. Launch Sequence, my debut album that you guys loved. I had zero expectations going into this release. I had no idea how you guys were going to perceive it. And in my opinion, it was wildly successful. The lead single, Black Hole Sun, is at 2.5 million streams and is still streaming about 9,000 per day. I also started releasing music consistently via my Locked In series, and you guys have been all over that. If you don't know about it, check it out on my second channel. I never thought this time last year I would be doing 30,000 streams a day on Spotify. And I have a lot in store for next year, so I hope you're ready. Here's to more great music in 2022.